know, what it was that you're asking, and I'm sure you're still asking, and what has been the result of that. And you said that you had someone who came to actually visit.
Absolutely. First, let me say that when I took office in 2009, you know, the trend downward had already started at a rapid pace. So all I know is the fact that a shrinking economy and a shrinking budget. To put it in perspective, $2 million has been cut from my budget over a 2-year period. That's on a budget that started around $14 million. So number one, I don't have a huge budget. Number two, it's 95% salaries. Number three, we lost $2 million out of that within a two-year time period. So that was problematic. That didn't work very well. The other thing is that we had Senator John Thrasher show up at our office, and the bottom line is he came and spoke to us about the budget, about what we can expect next time around. And what I'm encouraged by, Gwen, is the fact that we're looking at public safety being a priority. What I said to those folks at the legislative delegation was, how important is public safety to you? What priority do you put public safety on? We get less than 1% of the budget. When I say we, I'm talking about state attorneys, public defenders, and judges. Less than 1%, Gwen.
Wow.
So, when you're talking about cutting my budget or the budget of the state attorney's office, you're not talking about a lot of money, not in a $65 billion budget. So, again, how important is public safety? Are you prepared to cut public safety and cut funds to us and impact negatively upon public safety? And Senator Thrasher, I believe, was very vocal this last legislative session to say no, we shouldn't do it, and ultimately we didn't get cut. So we had a good year last year in the sense we didn't get cut. We actually got a little money for some of the more underfunded circuits, and we hope to get more next year. We'll see.
And you're saying that Senator Thrasher did actually come by your office? He
did. He came by yesterday. We met with him. We spoke to him about what we could expect in the future. He assured us that it's a priority for the citizens for him and for the citizens of the 7th Circuit. And I must say, Senator Thrasher has been by our office twice to meet with staff and employees. And I'm impressed by it. I am.
It does mean something when they take the time out to come visit when, you know, they don't have to, but they
yes,
do.
ma'am.
In my opinion, the two groups that are the most vulnerable are our youth, and of course we have our elderly.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that many times there are scams that are out there that really prey on normally the elderly, and then they'll prey on other people too, whoever and however they feel that they're most vulnerable. But are you finding that there are more scams than there have been in the past? And I know with this electronic age, it's got to be a lot easier than it used to be.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let me start by telling you we had a big story in the paper and a really well executed operation with the sheriff's office this week, or it culminated over the holiday weekend. What I'm talking about is the cyber sting that we had with the SO, and that involved exploitation electronically of children. A scam where basically you've got men in anywhere from their 20s to their 60s that believe they're talking to 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, and they're setting up to come to their home and engage in sexual activity with them. We actually arrested 15 folks. Here's where we're catching up technologically, and we're catching up with that whole mentality of the electronic means to exploit and facilitate sexual abuse of our children and the elderly as well. So I'm very pleased that we formed this partnership with the Sheriff's Office. We've done it in St. Johns County, got 15 people. We did it in Volusia County, got 15. I plan to do it circuit-wide, and we plan to be continually updating our technology and our approach, our operational capabilities to deal with it. As far as the elderly go, you've got a bunch of scams. You know, the grandma scams where they get on the phone, they call grandma and they say, I'm your nephew, remember me, I'm in jail, please send so much money. Those are the phone call types, and those happen, and people fall for it, God bless them. They think it's their nephew, they want to help them out. You've got the scams on the internet. You've got the folks that are calling or say, I'm in London, I've got this sum of money, give me your bank account, we need to park some of that money there. I tell you, my advice to folks about phone calls and the internet is you got to verify. When I get a notice, a pop-up that says, oh, you need to confirm your password, you know, we're doing a security check, and it's got my bank's logo on it, etc., I don't respond. If I think I should or I'm wondering about it, I will call the bank first. And most of the time they're like, hey, you need to delete that, don't answer that. That is not us doing that, period. So I think, you know, my advice is, do not trust what you get on the internet. If it looks too good to be true or it's suspicious, leave it alone. And if you think it's something you might need to respond to, call your bank or whoever is allegedly sending that to you to confirm that it's legitimate.
Right.
There's something you can look for on the pages too sometimes that'll indicate whether it's secure or connection, etc. But these scammers are so good at what they do that even that you can be fooled by those things too. So you have to be very careful.
I agree, because I've had that happen with a couple of banks that I'm involved with. And I had just opened the account on one, and I'm thinking, well, how in the heck can somebody have this information, you know, already? They must have some kind of a program. Otherwise, you know, if I were not thinking in those terms, then what I would think is that nobody else could have this but the bank, so it must be the bank type thing. So if you've got an account, you just open or whatever else, and they send you something, banks will tell you they are not sending that out. You know, AOL and others like that would tell you they're not requesting your information. So if somebody's requesting key information that's supposed to be confidential, then be suspicious of it.
Right, be careful, but be careful about Craigslist. Be careful about, you know, even the websites where you can bid on things. The problem is sometimes they can put up a fake website, or they'll want you to pay directly and not go through PayPal. I mean, you just need to be extra careful anytime you're conducting business on the internet. And the other thing, Gwen, is it's scary how much personal information about you and me and anybody else for that matter you can get just through Google, just through getting on the internet and doing searches. There's a lot more out there than you might.
And that is very, very scary. You know, a minute ago you were talking about your teamwork with some sheriff offices around. How important is teamwork? And do you find that it is forthcoming in the various counties that are a part of your district?
Yes, ma'am. I can tell you teamwork is essential. It's critical. It's the glue that helps hold everything together. We couldn't do, law enforcement, the state attorney's office, the criminal justice system could not function without teamwork. Law enforcement will bring a case to us. Sometimes we need more work. Sometimes we have questions. Sometimes they do. Sometimes we need to work together in order to get where we need to arrest somebody, to prosecute somebody, to make a victim whole, to make our community safer. Cooperation is not a buzzword in my business. It's an essential reality. And I'm happy to say that I believe we have great teamwork. Now, that doesn't mean, Gwen, that we don't have disagreements with other agencies or even amongst ourselves sometimes. The key is to communicate in a candid and honest, genuine way with the people you're dealing with. And if you can't agree, you agree to disagree, and you still do your jobs, because what is it we're all trying to do here, Gwen? What's the mission? What's important? That's to make our community safer, to make it safer for our children, for our grandchildren, and also to hopefully improve the quality of life. And I don't think any of us would argue that that's a goal worth pursuing.
I would agree with you on that. Now, another thing that you were saying that kind of leads to this area, as we try to make things safer, and we talk about the funding that's available for the court system, and some of the issues, major things that you guys end up dealing with. And we always come back, I always come